Last year, we ran an event where we played a bunch of forgotten TF2 maps with the people from our server, and today we're going to rank them from the most fun to the least fun. If you want to have a chance at being in the next event, then join the server in the description of this video.
First off, we have a CP2 train. It's these like 2 trains heading off to God knows where. Basically, the aim of it is to cap the point at the end.
I think originally you found this map by, it was on YouTube, right? You found like a trailer for it.
Oh, it was like an awesome like trailer with like it was like 2D and then it transitioned into 3D. You need to like put that on screen. Then I thought like, oh, we're never gonna find it because it was called something else in the video. We finally found that it was just called 2 train.
Like at first you would just think that it's like just like a poorly put together long line of 2 control points, but no, this has actually got like air like physics. It's got wind.
Yeah, there's like drag. So like if you're going from like the back of the train to the front, you're gonna get like stopped by the air drag in your tracks. But if you're like going in the opposite direction, you could like just basically fly around the map.
No, I found a strat as spy where I would like jump on like all the barrels and then just like flung myself all the way behind the enemy like red team.
There's one clip that we have of you like, I remember you like surfed like a sentry or surfed some way behind all the like 3 like level 3s. It's like awesome.
Yeah, it's a really cool mechanic, the air drag, that you don't see in a lot of other TF2 maps, if any at all. I really can't think of a single one that does that.
It is kind of like weird though. It only turns on at a certain height, so if you just do like a triple jump as scout with like the atomizer, you go flying and you're like, whoa, what happened?
This is actually an instance of like a blue-sided map because like red soldiers and red demomen cannot sticky and rocket jump.
Yeah, at all. But meanwhile, like 2 sticky jumper stickies and you're already at like the enemy spawn like right out the gate if you're like on the opposite team.
Although it does have this like car on the red side that like you know, there's like this little road on the side and some people like would like ride the car all the way up to like the blue like control point.
That is a bit of a leg up that the other team has. Yeah, I remember there's a bunch of clips of you as heavy just being on the car and like destroying. They also added a little mechanic where if you accidentally jump in front of the car, you just get instantly killed, aka ran over.
My one wish with the car is that you could like build a sentry on it, because it's not like the car stays forever. At some point it goes off screen, so like I don't think it would be that harmful.
Yeah, I think it reuses the same car model, so it probably would have been crazy if like the car just kept looping back with the level 3 on top of it. That would have been crazy.
There's also like all the like poles in the middle of the like map to like stop people sometimes from jumping in between, or like to catch them, and like it like almost insta kills you.
There's those overhead like signs and you just bonk your head and like die instantly.
Oh yeah, so many people got done by that one. So many people
Yeah.
like died ridiculously to that.
Honestly, you'd think it's like too like cramped, that there's not enough space to maneuver, but like eventually you just kind of start thinking in like 3 dimensions in a way, because I've had moments where I've like hung off the side of the train like hanging on to dear life. There's like a pixel of map geometry keeping me from like going off the train and like dying.
Yeah, this is really like a map that makes you like think outside the box, and that's pretty cool. I think this one has to be an S tier, even though like every time we run it on the server nowadays, everyone goes like, oh.
Well, that's the kind of problem with it, that it has like no time limit at all.
Yeah.
So it just
it's
goes
really
on
hard
forever.
to win on it. It's like, it's impossible anyways.
Yeah, no, it's like the control point is right in front of like their spawn. So like if you killed everybody, went on the control point in like 10 seconds, the entire enemy team is in front of you. But yeah, I do agree. It's really creative. It's really fun. And I think for that reason, it is an S tier.
Next, we have CP Redforge. This one's got a bit of an interesting history. Apparently, it wasn't always a medieval mode map.
Yeah, it's true. So it actually came out before medieval mode was a thing, and it was being actively worked on for like a year, some ridiculous time period. And then when medieval mode came out via the Christmas update of that year, I think 2010, the map creator was like, "Oh, this is perfect. perfect. So like literally 2 days after medieval mode released, he converted this map into a fully medieval map, and then it actually was the most popular community-made medieval mode map in early TF2 history, which is pretty interesting.
This is like a really good template. Just like one big castle, and every point you cap opens up more ways inside the castle.
I do really like how much they play around with like height. The blue spawn, there's like trenches that you can go under to sort of slink past or like use as cover. On the back of the castle, there's like a spiral staircase that you can just take all the way to flank the red team, which is like really cool. And like I guess the group keep does have verticality to it, but it's not to the same extent, I don't think.
Verticality is like really cool for medieval, I think. There should be more like tower climbing medieval maps instead of just like all being flat, because like the fact everyone's gotta like hit each other with melees except Sniper, who still has a bow and arrow, kind of like offsets the like, you know, like imbalance, I guess, with that. It all kind of just makes me wonder like how was this meant to like play with guns? It's like,
well, it's really cool. Now that you mention it, that like the game kind of ascends. Your average match of Redfoot, you start at the ground level, then you get into the castle, you're like surrounded by castle walls, and then the final point is on top of the castle, which makes like logical sense, right? Like you're on top of the castle taking it over, which I think I preferred rather than the group keeps like, oh, you gotta keep the left castle, left point, and then you kept the right point, and now you can get in. Meanwhile, this one is just like, at the front gate, gates down, go in, cap the middle of the castle, climb up, I'm on top of the castle, I win, and it's like so freaking awesome. I love it.
I think that's it is medieval mode though.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But I think it's my favorite of any medieval mode map I've played in a while, so I'd give it at least like a B or an A.
Yeah, no, I think I was popping off with the gunslinger. So I gotta put it in A.
Next up is PL Crane Top. It's this map from 2008.
Yeah, it was actually a Team Fortress Classic map released all the way back in 1999. That was then like 10 years later remade by the original creator as a Team Fortress 2 map.
Honestly, it works really, really well. It's a weird blend of capture the point and payload, despite the fact that it all still just works on payload logic somehow. It's like some source wizardry they did in Hammer.
This is like almost 20 years before B-Script. It's like crazy.
This is a year after the game came out.
Yeah. But like the way it works is there's like a big crane which you need to get on top of, hence the name. And then when you cap the point, the cart lowers down onto the track. And then after that, it's kind of your standard bout of payload. That's not to say it's not, the later parts of it aren't unique though.
No, this map's pretty crazy. The first point is like really, really open. Like there's this entire building you can like jump on top of and just be on the rooftop. And when I first saw it, I assumed like, oh, okay, this is gonna be like a big invisible wall. There's no way there's just gonna have this massive platform that's like available for you to stand on. But no, like you can stand on almost all the roofs in the first area for some reason. And then the rest of the map is like all underground.
It's split into 3 areas. The first area is this big open one with the crane. And the second area starts off with this really cramped corridor that you actually, there's no flank route, no nothing. It's like a giant choke point that's like such a pain to push through. And that's kind of like what the whole second area is. But I want to focus on the third area. If you remember, that's the one with the giant rocket in the middle. Apparently inspired by James Bond, according to the TF2 wiki. Hot take, I don't like most payload lasts. If you think of like Upward, Borneo, Badwater, every payload map just turns into like a big open field full of fun to like a cramped little room where like scouts and whatever else just cannot do anything. Meanwhile, this one, it actually opens up at the final point, and it's like this spiral where the cart has to sort of go in a circle, and there's this big area in the middle where you can have these like death matches and whatever else. I think it's really unique.
I'm kind of torn on it because in some ways it's really nice that it's like that open, but in other ways it's like a little too wide open. To the point where like some people people were like struggling to figure out exactly where to go, and there's a couple times where like I kept finding new flank routes to the point where it's like I just wasn't even sure if like I was like in the right place or going the right way anymore.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for sure, but I think it's a really unique spin on like the average final point of payload, you know? And I think it deserves some praise for that.
I'd give it a B. I'm satisfied playing it. Honestly, it's fun on defense and like a challenge on attack. My main issue is actually kind of like the last point and a lot of the first area.
Yeah, no, I agree with B because it has a lot of unique ideas. It has a lot of fun points, but that middle slog of just corridors and whatever else just kind of takes you out of it, I think.
Yeah, this point's a lot less purple side.
What the? My eyes!
Oh, wow.
Next up, we have CP Aqua, which is a map released in April of 2008. And this is just like one of the prettiest, unique looking maps, at least from this time period in TF2's history, that we've ever found. Like it's this like sort of underwater facility. It has these like underwater areas where you like leave the facility and explore the like ocean that's around it. And like there's like exposed electricity, like there's water leaking out of the like water tanks, and then there's this like really beautiful mine shaft area as like the final point that unironically has some of the like prettiest like sunshine lighting I've seen in a Source game. Like I'm not even like exaggerating.
This map is really, really pretty, but I'm just not a big fan of the layout. At some point, it's got a little bit too much detail. You know, like some parts stick out of the walls and like can get you stuck. People will like jump on it and like find crazy ways to maneuver around the map that like were clearly not intended or are kind of like broken. Some spots I'm not too happy fighting in. They're very cramped and awkward. But when it comes to like the red final point is just like the most beautiful thing on earth for some reason. It's like
It's a shame that it sucks to play.
Yeah.
Another weird quirk of this map I really want to mention is they like really paid attention to the sound design of this place. Every corner of this map plays a unique sound, and like if you just explore it by yourself with like surround sound headphones, it's like genuinely beautiful because like you hear the water rustling, you hear the computers beeping, you hear like all this crazy stuff. However, they crammed so many sound effects in that it actually overloads TF2's like sound effect limit. Players can't like hear their like shots, they can't hear their hit sounds, they can't hear their voice lines because all of that like space intended for like, you know, like the sounds the players make, it's just taken up by like serene sounds of nature, water, and
yeah, having like 32
computers.
people playing this all at once was like a fucking surreal experience of like complete quiet gaming.
Yeah, like it actually like made it like so silent. By the way, do like hit sounds and kill sounds not work for anyone else, like on this map?
Yeah, okay, so it's actually...
They work for me,
I
weirdly
think it's
enough.
an overuse
They're
of
just
sound
straight up
effects
not
that
playing.
clogs up the sound cache.
Oh.
That it was like really weird in a way.
A little scary, but yeah, this map's got a lot of cool like little visuals. I'm looking at it right now again, like because it's just so chock full of details. There's like a room that has a submarine in it. There's like a Half-Life Zen fish creatures, the Zen sharks, like in one of the like fish containers. It's just like full of just stuff all over the place, and it's all beautiful.
One of the like water containers has a error sign, which I think is supposed to be a Counter-Strike source fish. I'm not sure though.
or we're like trying to give too much credit to this map, who is like, which is like, you know,
We aren't giving it too much credit because if you're asking me, a map first and foremost has to be fun to play, and I think Aqua fails in that regard, which
does not
I
let
would
me
put
have
it.
fun.
Yeah, so I would put it in D tier. How about trains again? You like trains? Because the same guy who made the first train map released a second version called 2 Train Night, which you might think that it's just the first map but at like nighttime, but no, it is like completely redone.
So this is supposed to be a fixed version of the original 2 Train Night. So, you know, I've never played that one, so I don't even know how broken that one was originally. But this one runs really, really well from what I can tell. It's got a couple glitches, but I think like they're just like glitches that are part for like a map that is just so old now.
Some players did find a way to like just spawn a sentry in the middle of the like sky.
Yeah, that was a small issue.
It's the same thing. It's 2 trains. There's 2 points on each side, but it's like now both of the trains are gigantic with like isolated carts you can either go on top of or inside of. It's just like so much more open, and there's so many more ways to tackle it. Like you'd think that a map set on a train would be like cramped, but like they've actually made it so it feels like pretty open. Even as a scout, you can kind of maneuver inside of the train carts and like dodge projectiles and stuff, which is like really neat.
It might be like a stupid take, people are gonna make fun of me for it, but I really wish there were more breakable windows in like TF2 maps, because the breakable windows in these train carts are like so cool. So many times you'll be like playing as heavy, or like you're being chased by a heavy who's like in the opposite cart, and then he just starts like shooting through all the windows, and you see all of them break as he like tries to track you down. And it's just like fucking awesome, right? Like
it just feels like something
cool
straight
feeling.
out of a movie, because you see all those like tiny shards of glass just flying through the air while he's like shooting it.
It's not just aesthetic as well. It's a cool like little side of gameplay mechanics. Like snipers, for example, if they want to like shoot through the glass, they'll have to like come in here and then set up before. Or like a couple times where like a soldier like tried to shoot through like the cart and like broke all the windows at once.
Yeah, there's moments where you can really like escape because the soldier like tries to shoot at you through the window, but he has to like use a rocket to break the glass first. Another fun bit of it is the tunnels, where like periodically while playing the map, the 2 trains will enter a tunnel, which will like completely isolate them from one another. You cannot go from one train to another while you're in the tunnel, which makes for a lot of like cool like escapes where you like jump to the neighboring like train cart right before a tunnel comes in, and you're like, oh, I'm safe.
There were a lot of times where I tried to jump from one cart to another right before entering a tunnel, and most of the time though I got caught up in the tunnel and just sort of got like pushed out of the map and died. That might also be an issue.
Yeah, a side note, the car from the first map is also still there, but I found that like people don't really go on it since the trains are like so big now and there's so many ways to maneuver around them that people don't really like see a need for the car.
I completely forgot that there was a car. The trains are wide enough that like the flank routes are on the trains finally. They're not like single lines, which in my opinion also just makes this not as fun as regular 2 train. I like the weird cramped single file nature of the original 2 train. I don't really like it being too wide.
I'm gonna have to disagree there. I think 2 Train Night is way better because it's just like a concoction of just like unique interactions waiting to happen, because there are just so many ways you can tackle going from one side of the train to the other that like every match feels unique, whereas like with 2 Train, after like 5 or so matches, like you've kind of seen everything. Whereas with the night version, I'm still finding out new ways to sort of maneuver around.
Talking about seeing everything, my other big problem with this map is that I can't see shit. It's so dark all over the place. It's like,
it's really dark.
no, if possible, I'd like to see a CP2 Train Day fix version of this.
I don't think that's even necessary. I think all it needs is like spotlights, sort of like how you know Double Cross is set at night, but it has like lights all over the place so you can see. I think it just needs that. Though I still think it's so funny that it's a very dark map where you can barely see, and then when you get into the tunnel, the brightness is cranked even lower, so you're like kind of flying blind while you're in the tunnel, which I mean is accurate for tunnels, I guess.
It makes sense for the tunnel. I just wish it was like, I wish the map was brighter and that like, you know, it was actually like complete darkness under the tunnels.
I think despite our differences, we can still agree that this is an S tier, right?
Yeah, trains work all the time.
Next up, we have PL Zigg. This was actually made for a contest and posted at the end of 2008, and then it was pretty much consistently worked on throughout the next year. Before we get into into the map, can I please share like a really funny story I found out about the map?
Yeah, go ahead.
So back then, when you'd post a map, you kind of had to post it on Game Banana. The whole way that people would see and play new maps is through the Game Banana rating system. So if your map was rated down and like not well received by Game Banana, it would just get buried and was basically dead on arrival. Nobody would even find out that it exists. So what happened with PL Zigg is that the creator posted it on Game Banana with a tagline, "I've got bad news for you, Joe. You're not going to like this map," which is just like, you know, a tongue-in-cheek little like, "Oh, this map sucks, ha tee, like, you know. But a guy called Joe saw it, assumed it was about him for some reason, even though he didn't know the map creator, started crashing out and reported it to the Game Banana mods as harassment, and it got like the map taken down and downvoted to oblivion.
Oh my god.
And then like it took like a couple weeks, but then after a couple weeks the Game Banana mods were like, "Wait, what are we doing?" And then the map was like and then the map was like reinstated, and it's still up today.
Who is this Joe? Why did he think he was involved? Like what?
Like his username didn't have Joe. His legal name was Joe. That was so he thought that the map creator found out his legal name.
Yeah, but
and put
like the map creator wasn't involved or linked like to him whatsoever. How does that? Honestly, that is beyond me. That is crazy. That's crazy that actually got the map taken down too. But anyways, this map is like one of the prettiest ones I think that we ran that day.
It's definitely unique visuals wise because it uses like these like giant like gemstones. It's like set at night. It has like a purple color palette to it. Red spawn and blue spawn are gonna be red and blue, but like the middle area,
middle part is like purple. Yeah, because they like merge together.
Yeah, it merges together. It sort of has these like pastel kind of colors, and it makes for like a very unique experience, especially when you're going through like there's a middle section where there's like it's like a cavern full of crystals, and then all the crystals are really bright and the ground has like a bit of a shine to it. It's really, really unique when it comes to the visuals.
Was this map made for like a clan or something? It is called PL Zigg, but all the doors have like Zigg written on them. So like what's the meaning of this?
Well, from what I can tell, no, it was just I think the map creator just intended for the place to be called Zigg. It is a payload map, but gameplay wise it's okay. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's very basic. This map doesn't defy any expectations you have of like a payload map in general. This is like the most basic payload arena that I have ever seen in my life. It feels like Upward, but only the first part elongated to fit a whole map.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. It doesn't do anything wrong, but it doesn't do anything like super correctly either. I'd say if you wanted a perfect average payload map, this would be it.
This is like really, really cool and really pretty and like really unique for TF2. Gameplay wise, this is like a B tier. This is like complete mid. I feel no way one way or the other.
Yeah, I feel like it is a B tier as well, but I feel like Crane Top has a lot many more like unique elements gameplay wise to it, but like Zigg can contend with it on the same tier just because it looks so pretty.
And to cap everything off, we played 2TPL_mine_alpine.
Okay, so if you're wondering what the hell 2TPL means, it's 2-team payload. Basically, there's one goofy looking payload right in the middle of the map that can be pushed by both teams. And the whole objective is to push the cart into the enemy's base without letting them push it into yours.
It's a really small and cramped map. It is like, I think, really, really fun.
It is very much choke point heaven, but in a really fun way. It's so small that it feels like a little toy box map. Like it just feels like it was made to be way too small, but it like loops back around to being fun. It's sort of like the Dust Bowl effect, I think.
The weird thing is that it's cramped in certain ways and very open in others. Like there's this whole like ridge I don't even know what you would call that area, like you know, like above the like little wooden structure. You can stand on all of that, and like, you know, that's a great spot for snipers. I guess it's just very much a big choke point in the middle of the map. But also, the way this map works is a little bit strange for a tug of war. So basically, you gotta push the like payload all the way to the end, and that would like blow up the enemy team's, you know, last point, and then you win. But, you know, being a tug of war, the game stalemates quite a lot. What the map maker did is that basically each team's second point, when it is crossed by the payload, starts a timer. When that timer is down for your team, you win.
It creates some really anticlimactic like ends where like you win because you held the cart like right at the like checkpoint, but I feel like it's a necessary evil because otherwise the game would just never end.
There's not really been that many good or like other remedies, I guess, to making a tug of war game mode in TF2 that doesn't like involve like either like a sort of control point element or like adding a timer, because the game stalemates way too much.
I think the stalemates are part of the fun with this map. I wish it was a little bit more open because all the flank routes are just like tunnels. If you're like a spy, you're just gonna die immediately in those. Yeah, no, I think it's still pretty fun. Definitely a good sniper map if you know what you're doing.
I would give this an A because honestly, like, the fun that it gives you like really makes up for how actually not good the map layout is. Okay, it's a terrible map layout, but it is really fun to play tug and war. It's a game mode that like stalemates like hell, but it's kind of the point, so it just makes sense, you know. It's fun. It's a map you want to play demo man, you want to play sniper, you're gonna want to play soldier, you're gonna want to be an engineer. This is not gonna be like a scout map. This is
Absolutely
unfortunately this is a Dust Bowl map, but like in the best way possible. So for me, that's an A.
I completely agree. I think it is an A tier map, and I think it's definitely worth a try.
If you want to play some of the maps that we just talked about, you can still play them on our 24/7 TF2 server. And if you want to be there for the next series of dumb maps we play, then join our Discord server and you'll be notified of any future event.